Good morning, afternoon or evening, ladies and gentlemen, Allincrypto here, and welcome back, guys, on this wonderful Wednesday for what is going to be nothing short of another jam-packed daily market update. We are going to be kicking the video off with a tweet from DTCC. Now, DTCC stands for the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. They were founded in 1999. And they are essentially responsible for clearing, settling, and custodying of financial markets. They are essentially the premier infrastructure company that enables markets as we know them. They have assets under management over $87 trillion in assets under management. And in regards to settled transactions annually, they do over 2.5 quadrillion in value. They have thousands of financial and institutional clients globally. They are in over 130 countries. And like I say, they are literally the premier crypto, or not crypto, they will be. I essentially think these guys are going to be one of the largest use cases for crypto that there is. And the reason I'm going to start off on this is because you guys know, I believe, we are witnessing the rise of a one world global system in which DLTs, the Internet of Value, if you will, in which DLTs play a central role. And that's not going to be private DLTs, that's going to be public ones. Some of the ones that are on the markets today, and they're going to be worth trillions of dollars, I'm not just talking about Bitcoin, as a result of that. Because Bitcoin isn't going to enable all of this. It's going to be other cryptocurrencies, altcoins, and that's the real value proposition. So what I want to do is dive over to this. This, of course, is from DTCC. This is their official Twitter. DTCC, slow down, Rupert, is the premier post-trade market infrastructure for the global financial industry. Let's take a look at what they have to say. And the tweet reads, blockchain technology offers a powerful solution to unify fragmented financial systems and enhance capital efficiencies, as evidenced by the great collateral experiment here from Nadine Chekar to learn more. Let's play this clip. Then we're going to look at a recent Financial Times post from Larry Fink. Something monumental is taking place. I don't think people quite grasp what's going on. I know people are a bit fed up in the cryptocurrency space, lackluster price action. But seriously, guys, the writing is on the walls. And just because the price doesn't reflect that now, it will. And it's up to you whether you want to be here or not. I personally do. And I'm personally investing in this technology for, ultimately what it's going to do and enable. So let's dive into what Nadine has to say.
The digital collateral operating model is materially changing the way we do business, the processes we run, the behaviors we exhibit, and the benefits we realize. We are no longer limited by the inefficiencies of the TradFi world. In addition to market participants and regulators, we look forward to engaging with industry bodies as we need to coordinate and achieve consensus around data standards, best practices, all important components to encourage interoperability and adoption. And perhaps the most important point today is that we must continue to work together as an industry to advance at a pace towards productionizing the operating model. DTCC will continue to play our role as major infrastructure provider to bring the industry together and facilitate the important debate necessary to transform the industry. We will do so by leveraging the DTCC Digital Advisory Council. We will continue to listen to their opinion and feedback and collaboratively design the right solution to reach the right outcome.
The premier infrastructure provider, 2.5 quadrillion annually in volume, 80 whatever it was trillion under management, right? The largest there is telling you that they're going to use blockchain to enable their model, essentially their business. And people are bearish on the crypto space. I mean, the only conclusion I can come to is that they just haven't done any research on it, or they're not a subscriber to this channel. And this is all part of the coming Internet of Value. It's here. It's going to be enabled. And the reason why, and to use Allincrypto as an example, $2 million in USDC, which is essentially dollars, was swapped on Algorand in 2 seconds for 0.0004 cents. Do you have any idea how much that would cost to do with the current legacy system? Any idea? You're talking thousands of dollars, and it's doing it for 0.004. And Algorand is just one example of a technology that's, I know not everyone holds algo, but we're just showing that as an example. And again, this is all part of the Internet of Value that's being enabled, that you're literally going to send value. We're talking about currency here in regards to USDC, but value of any kind. We're literally going to send that globally in the same way you send information. And that's the unlock of this technology. And that brings me perfectly on linking into this with a tweet from BlackRock today. I don't know anybody that covers the space like this. So subscribe. And I think the stats on this channel, in regards to, I won't mention the account, but there was an account with over 1 million subscribers, and we had more subscribers added this month than he did. Or she, I won't say who. Or, well, this, BlackRock chairman and CEO, Larry Fink, writes in the FT, Financial Times, that the old economic model is coming apart. So what comes next? Now, Jerome Powell talking about Bretton Woods again. We'll look at what Christine Lagarde has to say in regards to a reset in just a second. Read his latest OPED about the emerging second draft of globalization. I'm not really for globalization, I've got to be honest. I think it's a major threat to us as human beings, in my opinion. And it is just my opinion, because if you can figure out a way to essentially consolidate the world into or under one ruling whatever, that's dangerous, very dangerous. Because then you can essentially consolidate belief, religion, belief and religion, obviously the same thing, but finance, so on and so forth. Anyway, and part of a major plan to do that is the financial sector, which is what these DLTs are enabling, unfortunately. So what comes next? Read his latest OP about the emerging markets and draft of globalization, built not just to generate prosperity, but aimed it towards people and places left behind the first time. DLTs are going to bring on those billions of people that currently are not in the financial system and their economies. And I actually think you're going to see a major economic boom as a result of that, not just in regards to bringing those people into the system and enlarging the system more broadly, but actually also in regards to what the system can do in regards to essentially taking out idle funds. This is Larry Fink. So this didn't specifically mention DLT, but what he's talking about there, he's already spoken about in his letter to investors, where he does specifically mention DLTs. And what I mean about a kind of great financial boom, if you will, is in Larry Fink's letter to investors, he did speak about the trillions of dollars. So the money is already there. In fact, more capital is sitting idle today than any point in my career. In the US alone, roughly 25 trillion is parked in banks and money market funds. They're going to, through DLT, bring that money back into the system and make the system more efficient so that money doesn't need to be there. Talk about Nostra Vostra accounts. Globally, you're talking 37 trillion or something. You need to be an investor right now. We're not a financial advisor. We don't give financial advice here, but I'm telling you, you need to be investing. You don't need, maybe not even crypto. If you don't like it, it's not your game. I'm not sure what you're doing watching a crypto channel, but you need your money somewhere of value that isn't the fiat systems. And of course, he talks about DLTs multiple times. He talks about the change of portfolios. But this was literally yesterday from 3rd of June. Or was that today? Yeah, no, so yesterday. It's not even 24 hours old. It's time for the second draft of globalization. How do you think they're going to enable all this? Well, they're going to unify the world through DLTs. And we know that, this is him talking about the democratization of markets, the democratization of investing, extending prosperity in more places for more people. And they specifically mention DLTs on a number of occasions here, not just in regards to Bitcoin, which I'll show you, And of course, they're saying, can Bitcoin eat away the US dollar reserve status? Tokenization is democratization. It talks about take a society of worldwide interbank financial telecommunications, SWIFT. It's the system that underpins trillions of dollars in global transactions every day, and it works more like a relay race. Banks hand off infrastructure one by one, meticulously checking details at each step. That relay approach made sense in the 1970s, an analog era when the markets were much smaller and daily transactions were much fewer. But today, relying on SWIFT feels like routing emails through a postal service. Tokenization changes all that. If SWIFT is the postal service, tokenization itself is email. Assets move directly and instantly, sidestepping intermediaries. Every stock, every bond, every fund, every asset can be tokenized, and they will be. And it's going to happen on DLTs, guys. And it also talks about it can democratize assets, access, so on and so forth. The writing's just on the walls, and it can be quite scary actually when you sort of understand what's going on. And normal people, and you don't want to be a normal person, by the way, because the normal is abnormal, I think, in regards to maybe what we should be doing as human beings. But most people, I shouldn't say normal, most people don't have a clue that this stuff is happening, but it's going to directly impact their lives. And this is all moving towards perhaps an economic singularity. The takeaway for us as investors is that public DLTs, the ones that are here today, are going to enable all of this. And where they are on that journey is right at the beginning. And they've got quadrillions, potentially, to capture in regards to the actual tokenization. I will play this clip, actually. Nice thumbs up there from the Mac. I will play this clip. There's so many clips I was going to play, but I think we'll focus on what we're talking about right now. I'm going to play this clip of Christine Lagarde at the World Economic Forum, actually talking about a reset and a change in monetary sort of infrastructure, so on and so forth. DTCC backed up, Larry Fink's backed up, Jerome Powell even hinting at it, talking about Bretton Woods. So let's dive into this.
My last R is reset. We're seeing as necessary going forward a reset in the area of monetary policies. We believe that quantitative easing and the accommodating monetary policies that have been adopted so far should be continued up until such point where growth is well anchored in those economies, and this is not yet the case everywhere. Reset in the sense that once it is well anchored, then those accommodating monetary policies have to be reformulated, have to move either back into their old territories or be more traditional or be maybe of a different kind, and I'm sure central bankers around here will be able to comment on that. But that's first reset. Second reset is the one that Mark is I hope, going to talk about, which is the financial sector reform and regulatory environment that is clearly undergoing a major reset at the moment. And the final reset, which is my last word, Martin, is those structural reforms that are necessary in all corners of the world. Very often people think structural reforms, okay, for some of those advanced economies that have such rigid labor markets. No, it's not just that. And I'm not sure that I would necessarily associate advanced economies with rigid markets, nor would I mark flexibility as the ideal solution for it. But structural reforms are needed in product markets, service markets, but they're also needed in emerging market economies where structural reforms can take a completely different form from those that I've just mentioned. And they have to do with bottlenecks in certain countries, they have to do with proper governance, and they certainly take multiple forms, including that of unleashing the potential that is there, but that is still constricted by a lot of licensing right, protective barriers, and so on and so forth. I've finished with my 3 Rs, the most important one of the three being the one that I've not commented on, but that you have eloquently commented on, which is R for recovery.
That's Christine Lagarde, very much just, we're living through a financial reset. And fundamentally, money markets are going to change. I was going to go into what Trump's son was talking about in regards to, he was asked a question talking about the challenging nature of crypto to the dollar system. I think the dollar system is going to morph, not be replaced. And actually, this technology, ironically, does more for the dollar system than not. Let's talk about price just to wrap things up very quickly. you guys know what we think. Technically, Bitcoin will go higher, in my opinion, in the overall cryptocurrency space. And when you look at sort of BTC Dom, we are yet to even have a altcoin bull market. Some people say, oh, that's really bearish. I would say, no, that's really bullish, because we haven't quite reached, Bitcoin dominance last sort of cycle, or the dominance cycle took 1,085 days to top, and then you had alt season. Today we're on 1,015, not even 1,015 days. So you've got, 70 days to go just to get to the same place that we were. Bitcoin dominance didn't go as high as it did last time, despite all the institutional interest. That shows, I think, a more maturing space. And eventually, I think Bitcoin dominance comes down to the 5% mark. And I still think we're yet to see alt season. I think Bitcoin dominance, Bitcoin is going to permission that in regards to technically what we're looking at. And I think the altcoin sector is in an amazing spot. And I will be doing a longer video on that and addressing that fact entirely, that we're in a great position in regards to the altcoin sector. I am literally hundreds of percents up on multiple cryptos. That's just not good enough for people, really, is it, in the cryptocurrency space, despite having outperformed pretty much every traditional asset manager out there. It is what it is. Life's all about perspective. Again, we know people that have had horrible lives that are happy, and people that have had great lives that are sad. That's it from me. I'm going to love and leave you. Have a wonderful Wednesday, guys. I'll see you all in the next one.